Okay, so I've had this talk with my husband who watches a lot. That it bothers him every time he's watching an isekai, and they start cooking in the new world, and they get like supplies from their world, and he's like they're introducing microplastics. It makes me laugh so much because like you're right. That is awful. Yeah, there's plastic bottles everywhere now. There's all sorts of like wrappers. Like
Wrappers and
no,
shit.
no,
Wait.
that world was pristine.
They have like mayonnaise bottles and things like that.
Yeah. Like they when they can like jump between like their world and the isekai world, they always bring like packaged goods. So funny.
Have you ever seen like the titles for some of these new isekai anime?
Yeah.
It's like I was
Actually,
born a goblin and now I'm a 30 level mage of the Dark Saint or something like that. And I'm like, what is this title? It's a run-on sentence. That's what it is.
Well, what it is a log line. It's a pitch. So we come up with titles, and a lot of the older gen animes did have titles. Like it followed that convention, at least when they were marketed over here. But yeah, that's literally the pitch of the project in title form, so that you know exactly what you're getting into when you're searching all the other ones. Like, I get it, I get why it works, but I hate it. Give me a cool title. Lure me with the cool title. But
Right.
yeah, and a lot of there was a worry that trend was going to come here for books and other things too. And I guess there's such a pushback at that point that it sort of died off. And
yeah, because that was like every manga and anime for a while.
Everyone, yeah.
When your title is more than 40 characters long, come on.
I've seen like paragraphs of like some of like well, I don't know what they're called over there, but it would be like a novella here. Yeah, they're pretty short, quick stories. Yeah, there was one that was like literally a paragraph of a title.
So today we're talking about
smooth.
When to roll dice. I'm not even going to try to transition on that one. I was looking for a way in and I couldn't find one. I guess this is sort of a transition in a manner of speaking, but I was like, okay, so look, you sit down at a table, you're all going to play some D&D or whatever system you have, and obviously systems are going to have a different amount of dice and different amount of times of when and how you roll dice. But I guess we want to kind of zoom out a little bit more and just say, okay, you've got some dice, use them. When to use them? How to use them? What are your guys' thoughts on the matter?
When we were kicking this around, I think that the first obvious place outside of combat, outside the expected kind of things, is to alleviate indecision. Whether that's party indecision, player indecision, sometimes just the random chance of going one way or another, even if it's a 50-50 decision your character's making, you can't quite figure out where their alignment's going or whatnot. Once you know, yes, you are either going to go left or right, then you can put all of your creative energy into enacting the plan rather than sitting there questioning it, doubting it, dragging on the combat, kind of making everybody wait for you. So for me, I really like rolling when it's just so damn difficult to make that decision.
When analysis paralysis becomes a thing and the players themselves, or because of the two different characters' personalities are kind of clashing to a certain degree, and they don't know which way to go, which, down the smelly corridor or the clean smelling corridor or whatever, then you have them do opposed diplomacy checks or whatever, and then the winner, that's the way that it goes, and then the player who's playing the character whose decision is not made has to then just kind of relinquish for the purpose of the gameplay to continue on, or to stand their ground and then split the party or something like that. Go back to last week's episode about that. Chris,
as a DM, I actually sometimes I'll just have them roll like a d20 to see how delicious the food is at that pub, just to get it over with, right? And so that we can just move on from there. Right?
Yeah, we do that all the time as well. And I'll have them individually roll to see how well they enjoy the food at that particular time.
Yeah.
Or tolerate it in the case of that spicy stew.
Yeah. Spice is one of those things we always do that as well.
I love it.
And then it also starts like to build characters that way, right? Because then you'll be
Mhm.
okay. Now my character it's established that they don't like spicy food, right?
Well, every die roll leaves open the potential chance for failure, and in this situation, you can then up the stakes of a situation that could be generally benign, like having a bunch of characters sitting around, at guests at some guest house, and then the old lady, goblin who serves the food brings out something that's somewhat disagreeable, but it would be a social faux pas not to eat it. And so they roll it, and one of them happens to like it, but one of the characters, the face character, rolls poorly on like how well they like it. Now they've got to roll sort of like an etiquette roll or like to sort of like
to not offend the goblin.
Right, to like to correct the situation, and that can be really fun. And rather than just saying to a player you don't like it, see if you like it. So yeah, that's definitely one interesting way to like go down a little role pathway and make a seemingly simple casual encounter into kind of a series of fun escalating die rolls for sure. I think one of the pitfalls that James might go into is like having a die roll for everything. First of all, that's once those dice are on the table, you feel like you got to use them, and then and sometimes the die roll could kind of lead to making a scene too short and leaving no space for the role play to actually happen before the roll. In the best situation, the roll happens at the end of the role play as like the determining factor as to like was it all successful then, and now you have everyone around the table kind of looking at the dice, but it's about kind of sitting in the non-roll space so that the roll space ROLL becomes more intense, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like it when in doubt, like follow basic story structure. You want to build that tension. You want as much detail and interaction to be happening to lead up to the decision or the determining factor, right? Like finding out what actually happens is a heck of a lot less interesting than all the juicy like arguments and whatnot that lead up to that moment of release. So
it's the journey, not the destination.
yes. Now, it can be incredibly fun when the role is lost because now you have a whole nother like tension arc that happens. But generally, if you resolve it, like, hey, you guys passed the challenge, it's like, oh, okay, on we go. So yeah, having a whole bunch of like conflict and escalation and then a failed roll. Now that's cool. That's fun. But you got to be prepared that they're going to win the role and then you're going to have to move on. And it's, I think we've mentioned this plenty of times that I'm a huge fan of fail rolls in producing better RP.
Well, yeah, especially if it's a horror game, and players need to understand that. I think some players don't like the failed rolls, and they're there for the power fantasy. But if they're playing a horror game, you have to understand that failed rolls are part of it. Sorry, Chris, you were going to say something.
Failed rolls up to some point, like if you're failing all night, that's even if you're a player that does love failed rolls, that can be brutal. That can be destroy your evening. I've
had those nights. A few too many lately. It's almost becoming like laughable at this
point.
Like
I'm the acrobatics trick monkey character, and I fail all of my dexterity checks, and I'm like falling out of the trees and banging my head against it, and it's just my character's not cool anymore. And it's just like
right, exactly.
He's got a head cold. His equilibrium's off. Something.
yeah. His self-actualization, whatever, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is being kind of threatened here, and therefore he's gonna just like slink away and go get some like self-help or something like that.
He has a whole career change because of
a whole career change.
I'm not cut out for this.
Because that one day.
Yeah, because that one day I fell off the spine of the Dracolich or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. So yeah, like I was alluding to before, if there is a die roll, first of all, the failure has to be an option, and therefore, if you are doing a kind of mystery campaign setting, or they're investigating for clues or something like that, well, then you can't have the core clue be a investigation roll, and they don't find the core clue, and now they're running around looking for NPCs and the DM. I mean, we hear these stories from like the DM horror stories. Well, the DM says, "Well, you didn't pass your investigation check." Well, what else are we supposed to do? No. If it's a core clue, you find it.
The worst.
I've eliminated perception as a role from my game entirely. I've replaced it
Mhm.
with scouting roles. And in that sense, it's like the role is never like I'm looking out to see if I can see something in the far off distance or whatever. You'll see it. But if you're like sort of tracking someone and you're kind of looking for something in particular, then you roll for it. But I mean, it's a slightly nuanced difference, but I think it's an important one.
I feel like we've been doing more of a not necessarily an on-off with roles. It's been more of a the better your success, the more information you're getting. So, you still get something, some small direction to go in. But if you like just crit the heck out of that scouting roll, well, yeah, now we can get on that track, right? So I really like that a lot more.
Well, degrees of success, rather than just pass fail above a difficulty class rating or something like that, is how I like to make the game. One has to worry about power creep, of course, as always. But my design goal with my homebrew game was to make every roll important. I may have fallen down on that a little bit over the course of the years playing it, but who knows? Maybe I'll let you speak on that, Sandra. But anyway,
Roles definitely need some sort of like impact. They need to they need meaning behind them.
Mhm.
I guess the only times that I would allow someone to make a roll, even though they're guaranteed success, is if they want to like add an additional effect to the roll. Right. In which case, helping, they can pass the climb check, but they want to help one of their other companions and give them a bonus to it, right? In that case, I would allow them to roll something that they would obviously pass, just to help another.
Yeah, I'd like to. This is sort of adjacent to the conversation that we're having right now, but this idea of like using the dice around the table to indicate different things in the moment that can really change up the encounter. Like every good encounter should have like the threat, the reward, the terrain, time, all the kind of stuff that we've talked about in the past. But then kind of shifting that up in the middle, and rather than just have the dice that you roll and look to see if it's like a pass-fail resolution, you have dice that can indicate, okay, the player on their action attempts to kind of light a fire. They've passed, they've succeeded. Yeah, it's happened, but now it's going to take a D4, place that on the table now. It's going to take 4 more turns for the fire to kind of spread to any reasonable degree of effectiveness to become. And that's so you've got all these little kind of timers and clocks happening around. They're fighting a large battle. Rather than do mob rules, you could have like another D20 that ticks down. That's the kind of opposing forces morale as the battle is ongoing. So even though you guys are having a great moment in that, you can have all these other little systems that tick onto them, and they're not necessarily dice rolls per se, but they kind of they indicate and might push players and therefore characters towards certain actions and make kind of like little curious effects to things.
Yeah, those are great.
So I'm curious with both of you, how much do you reward like really good RP? Like when somebody not necessarily front loads an action, but when they really explain what they intend to do and it's a good idea and it's novel. Like does that affect what you make them roll or what their success chances or whatnot?
I think it goes down to what the idea is. If it's something that's easily plausible and it was just a great idea, done. Yeah, you got it. But then if it's something that requires a little bit of skill to do it, then I'll make them roll as long as it's not as long as it's within the realm of something that they could fail at, like Jay has mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do reward. I'm very generous with that kind of thing. Good ideas play well at my table. So.
Benny systems, where you kind of pass like an inspiration point or a coin over as sort of like a little like gamification benefit. Here, you get a sticker. You've done something.
Yay,
You've done something nice. You get a star for your thing. Usually, I'll just offer the player momentary narrative control in the moment to just like explain what happened, and then they just go for it and tell me what you did. Rather than me explaining the minutiae of like how the enemy would react, or like, okay, how do you kill this guy? Go crazy and have fun with it, and just giving that little spotlight on the stage moment helps, and sometimes that's where a nice crit comes into it.
Now, Jay, do you often, like, in terms of things that you don't know, like going back to things that we don't know, do you roll randomly for, like, say you enter the forest and then there's bandits? How many bandits? You roll a d6 or roll a d20, depending on how generous you are that day.
I never use like random encounters. Though if I have a feeling that like the players are kind of just itching for a little bit of combat,
Okay.
then I'll throw a bone in there or something like that, or like hasten a story earlier to just get into that combat bit. Like, oh, I know it's going to eventually happen. Rather than kick that can down the road a little bit, let's just get there and get to the combat. So it's kind of judging the feel of the room, but I feel like I missed the question. Can you say the question
Well,
again?
the idea is like there's got to be times when you have encountered something that your players wanted to do, and then you
Right,
didn't have
yeah.
that planned, right? Like,
Right,
say,
right.
like suddenly they want to look for gangsters at the port or something like that, right? And you're like, okay,
Every week
there are
it happens every week.
So
And so
unruly.
yeah,
gangsters at the port.
no, just like
No, no, no.
I
Just
come on, I know.
herding cats.
they'll zig when I wanted them to zag or whatever. So yeah, I'll oftentimes, like, if I have a hard time making a decision as to like an outcome of a thing, or like if a place might be safe or not safe, I'll do like quiet GM rolls in the background just to sort of like give myself some random food for thought.
Yep.
But yeah, no, they throw a wrench in the works all the time, and so yeah, sometimes just making a roll kind of helps me determine what it is on the spot. But yeah, I'm mentally exhausted after every session for having to like kind of keep like things working consistent
Yep,
despite
yep.
the left flanks or whatever, you know what I mean? I
Our
suppose
listeners
this
can't see this, but I have such a smirk. Such a little.
And now he's frowning.
yeah.
Aw. You're part of the problem.
Oh, it happened just on last weekend. There was this storyline where they were kind of tracking a series of cultists, you know, as you do. And in order to find these cultists, they sort of got in league with a bunch of kind of recruits that were eventually going to become part of this cultist group as the way
Cultist
to
noobs.
cultist noobs, yeah, cultist, and then they were following them along the way to find out where the big camp was, and you know, so I'm setting up all these like NPC names and backstories, and you know, 5 different characters and all this kind of stuff. And then one of the characters like poisons the whole group of them, like at like the dinner. He's like, now that we know where the camp is, we don't need these guys anymore. They all died, and I was like, oh my god, it was so dark. It was so dark.
It's totally in character, but like, yeah, that conflict afterwards, though, because one of our party was just like, "Oh dear God,
You can't do that. They weren't bad yet.
they weren't bad yet."
Yeah, they were.
Such a
Could've been
moral
saved.
dilemma.
Yeah. They were heading towards the Satanist movement, but they didn't quite sign the cards
Yeah.
yet, or whatever. You know, they didn't.
Yeah, they had the robes, but they didn't know how to wear them right yet.
Yeah. What are these? A few pointy hats in your anyway?
Oh no!
What are these? What are these red hats? Okay. Anyway.
Red hats.
Never mind. You know what I mean? They're the new fascist armbands. But anyway, I'm leaving it in.
Okay.
If you wear one, fuck you. Don't listen to this podcast. Bye. Bye.
Always honest.
That's what we do here. We're honest. Okay. Do we have anything else to add here before we move on to the second half of the conversation?
One thing that I definitely was wondering was, you know, you both have DM'd like experienced games for players who've long time, and you've also done games for, you know, new players or you know, one-offs and things. Do you find that you wind up having them roll more often as new players or experienced players?
Not more often, but quickly into the gameplay experience. Get them rolling a dice real early on, and now you're involved in the game. Like, in fact, whoever is the noob at the table, I'll probably get them to make the die roll first. Get them to do something, realize how this pass-fail mechanism works, and then they go, oh, and then they instantly understand how all the rest of the rules work. Simple.
That makes sense.
Depends on the age, but kids, if it's like if I'm doing a session for kids love rolling dice. So I think adults also like to. So I do tend to have more dice rolling for for new groups and things, new players and new groups. So no, that's a very good question.
One of the things that we've alluded to in the past is how I like to shift out initiative and use it very fast and loose, and we'll zoom into kind of moments which would necessarily break certain games' combat economy, because the whole you got 2 actions and a bonus action or reaction or whatever. It's sort of like it's balanced to a fine point. But when they first came out back in the days of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition or whatever, they eventually came out with all these sort of modules that were like to expand what the fighter class was, and what the paladin class was, what the rogue class was, and they had a swashbuckler like subclass of the rogue, I believe it was.
Yep.
We get some like hate comments here in the bottom. Not on the cap comments, but on no, it wasn't rogues. It was fighter subclass. Anyway, but I still never felt it, but it still kept the core combat mechanic of the game that. And I remember very specifically that I wanted to get away from that. And that was sort of like the one point when I began homebrewing and stuff. I was like, as a swashbuckler, you want to have these kind of cool moments where you're, having a sword fight on the top of the mast of a careening ship or whatever, and you're going back and forth. But if you just get your one little attack roll and you wait for your turn to come back, you're not really getting any of that sense of like an Errol Flynn kind of cinematic fight. So like do like 3 or 4 back and forth real quick. Oh man, and that's so exciting. Every time it gets to, and if other characters kind of holding fort, or the wizard's solving a puzzle and the barbarian is just like punching a few goblins, well, you could have him punch 5 goblins rather than 1 in one turn. Do multiple rolls. I mean, it becomes untenable when you get past like 12th level and all this kind of stuff because of the amount of dice you're going to roll and all that stuff. But like, why not do it again? And like any spells that are cast, just ignore any of the spell costs and let them cast multiple magic missiles in the same spell, and then throw more enemies in there, and it makes the character feel fucking epic, and it could be awesome. Yeah. Anyway,
agreed.
Yep. All right. Well, let's take a quick break here, and we'll be back with our second half of our conversation about fudge.
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 All right, it's time for a quick fix. Take out those band-aids and let's get ready to go. I don't know if that's even good. If it's usable. Take out those band-aids and let's get ready to go.
Let's get ready to go.
It's just a paper cut.
Best party ever.
All right.
Band-aid party.
Band-aid party.
Things got so crazy. We needed band-aids.
Alrighty. You created an NPC that has a bad immersion-breaking name. What do you do?
Oh, straight face the whole time. Just straight face it.
You say that's the way the name is pronounced in certain parts of the world, but in this part of the world, it's pronounced this way. Quickly change it. Done.
Bring it up next time and retcon it.
Fudge. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that's what we're talking about now. And not fudge dice, even though that probably would have been a more appropriate second conversation for our topic, which is like the fudge dice that are part of the not coin series. The fucking fate core system with the plus and dice. They're really great to use for determining like those moments of like destiny and all that kind of stuff. Roll this dice to see if it happened.
Use them all the time. The time.
They're great, right?
when there's a situation where I haven't really built anything, so they walk into a shop and just to see, just to maybe throw throw a little bit of situation for them, like maybe he's in a good mood, bad mood, or maybe he just doesn't like the cut of their jib.
Indifferent mood, yeah, right.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're not necessarily talking about fudge dice here. But I suppose we're actually talking about is to fudge or not to fudge. I know there's a lot of hardliners out there that say you never do it. Rules is written, go in. I'm not that type. Just to put that right out in the open, I would fudge in the degree of like not having a roll in the first place, rather than having to fudge.
That's fair.
But in a way that is a fudge, by just giving the player the benefit of the doubt and they can just pass that thing rather than force a roll in the occasion. But I will also fudge in the moments when, if a player has been failing all night, desperately needs a success, and giving that success in a moment where they can get like the killing blow on a really powerful enemy with the one hit that they've got. If the timing is right. When the timing is right, giving a really middling success, a grandstanding success narration can fix everything, and that's a great fudge in my opinion.
Now, I guess the question is, what do we fudge?
Go on.
What do we fudge? So we mentioned dice rolls and possibly HP, but are there other things that you would fudge?
Yeah, definitely HP, like monster HP, monster. How much they have left? Oh, they got one hit point left that they didn't quite get, even though the player's hit was a critical success. Like, just kill him, just kill the enemy. You know what I mean? Like, take round the difference, round up, round down.
Rounding error.
Yeah. What else do you fudge? You can make claims for a second attempt at a dice roll if there is a way that the player can justify it via a different skill.
Okay. Yep.
Another way around a failed roll is kind of, in a way, not just saying no, you can't do that anymore, or whatever the consequences of the failed roll are, but like second chances.
Yep. I'm down for that. I have that written down as as game mechanics. So certain game mechanics I would fudge. If you don't know something off the top of your head, just like go do something, make it up.
Yes, 100%, especially spells. Like people who are using, like D&D rule set. I've abandoned D&D Magic long ago. I'll never go back. I find it to be antiquated and unuseful, and it doesn't make magic magical. For various reasons, because you've got 3 different types of spells. What are their functions? Well, maybe this is a conversation for another time. But yeah, like, what do you want this? What is your intent in the action? Follow that thread over rules thread any day. I mean, but that is also in the rules. To give D&D some credit, even though I'm quite negative on D&D all the time, it was a formative game, and it still holds a deep place in my heart.
Other things that I'll fudge is like we mentioned earlier, solutions to puzzles. If they can come up with a solution, and I had it written down that it was supposed to be solved this way, but they can find another way to do it that's better than mine or simpler and won't take like half an hour, then yeah, do it. Fudge.
Crowdsourcing.
Yeah, sometimes they'll come with puzzles that I don't know the solution, and just wait for the players to come up with something, and that's the answer.
It's like your homework. Like, okay, I can't figure out this riddle. Let me throw it at my party.
Well, yeah, in a way, there is a degree of smoke and mirrors that happens with hand, like close up magic, like card magic, coin magic, D&D. There's a magic element. Like the GM is the performing magician that is telling a fiction to the players, and whatever is necessary to make that fiction more believable or exciting is like all on the table, in my opinion.
There are also forms of like a dungeon mastering where people will come up with a problem and not have a solution actually planned out. Where it's all up to the players to come up with something that the DM doesn't even.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I do. Yeah, I'll come up with a problem that I don't have a solution for, and see where they go with it. And then because the solution will be unique to the player makeup, or like a personality within the character base that like pushes something through that becomes like, was it right? Well, it is now for the story. It's become integral to the snowball effect of what's going to happen after this, after this, after this, after this, after this, right? Yeah.
I think the big question I had when we were talking about this topic was death. Have you ever fudged a player death? Because I think you both play with death at your tables.
In which direction?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I guess it almost needs a pre-question of like, how hardcore do you guys in your regular campaigns go for death? Like, does everybody at the table know that you make a reckless decision, it could be the end of your character? And having done said reckless thing, have you ever not killed them?
Okay.
I think, and maybe Sandra, you can speak to this. I think all of my players, of which you are one, know when a situation is very deadly.
Yeah.
Without having to explicitly say that it's so deadly. The world itself is pretty deadly as it is. So when you go out, there's chances are that you might get into a situation where you just unintentionally die, and it's like, whoops. I will oftentimes have that discussion with a player in the moment of like, oh, this is you just died right now. Are we cool with this? Are we like just as a courtesy?
Yeah.
But I'm happy to let things lie because in a way I'm more concerned about like it's still a work in progress rule system where balance, maybe I was being a little bit over deadly with the enemy damage rolls and things like that. So it's like, oh well, that I felt I was a little bit too deadly on that one, so let's dial it back. But if the player feels like, no, that was cool, then we just leave it.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate because and as the person who probably has the thickest character graveyard, I seriously do. It's all like just right above me right now. Yeah, I think I have seen those moments where you definitely had this. Oh, that was probably a bit overtuned, and that was probably the only time I've ever seen you pull back on a death. Otherwise, we all know, even simple things can cause a death. But that's how we find fun in the game. Like we're all in agreement that danger level is fun. So
yeah, there are unsavable poisons in the world that if you were to like drink them, your character just dies or whatever. And so like there are situations that just are there are insta death moments that kind of maybe hasten back to the old kind of 70s style of dungeon encounter and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a dangerous, dark, and deadly world. Nice alliteration.
But we live in that kind of world. Like, there's bleach in everybody's house. Don't drink it, right?
Don't drink it. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, here. See, I'm on the other side of that coin then, because I only tend to reserve death for like really dumb decisions, or like really dumb decisions, like ones where I might look at the player and be like, okay, or
you even give them the look and they're like, I'm in.
Yeah,
all right.
So it's happened. Or I will usually let them know when an encounter is incredibly dangerous. Okay, and in those fights, I don't fudge. I don't pull any punches or anything, because those are usually end boss fights. They're usually ones that have major significance to the story, and could end up having these huge consequences for both sides. Because I don't like people dying to bandits, like characters dying to like a set of bandits that they meet on the road.
As like, a player, I gotta agree with that. Just done in by the bandits. Damn it!
How do you let players know that an encounter is deadly?
I'll tell them straight up. I'll tell them. I'll say that this is an encounter where deaths are quite possible, right? And I'll let them know that beforehand so that they can brace themselves. If everyone dies, then And that I haven't had a TPK. I've had people run away and things like that and survive a fight like that, or try to find another way out of it. But certainly characters have died in encounters, and yeah, I
Running
usually
away is
let them know.
underrated.
I think players are more likely to die in my world than survive through the campaign. Honestly, if I don't even mean this as a criticism, Chris, but like perhaps your world's got like a slightly more anime style to it than mine does. Is that fair or no?
No, that would be fair. A lot of it is based off of the idea of like characters are usually heroes that survive throughout the main story, and one or two will die, but it's not. I'm not hardcore into, like lots of death for bandit reasons.
Meanwhile, I might say that I have something of like a No Country for Old Men style of gameplay where like the main character like will die halfway through and it's like, whoa, what the hell?
No,
you just continue on.
That's something that I think I'd like to explore later, but for the most part, the players that I play with, they really get attached to their characters, right? Like really attached to their characters.
So do we. Depression is guaranteed.
It does add, but it does lead to, I suppose, or because of that decision, does lead to a sort of certain tonal characteristic to the campaign as a whole, doesn't it? Which is
definitely,
which is like what they want to simmer in that sauce, as it were. Like, when you sit down on a movie night, what do you want to watch, right? Do you want to watch that brutal horror movie where all the characters get maimed and blah 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 blah, or the one where the heroes win in the end and all this kind of stuff. So
but I mean, though, like, say if like in the Ninja Turtles Donatello died, you know how crazy of an impact that would be.
I mean, it's like the Transformers movies from the 80s. It's like Optimus out of there. Like, what?
Well, you've heard of Ronin, right? TMNT Ronin.
I have actually, yes.
Right, it's like the most recent one. It's somewhat controversial, but they're making a video game about it apparently, where it's like, I think it's Raphael is the only one. Whatever, spoiler alert. Is the one turtle who survives, and all the rest of them get killed in like some fateful encounter. And like now it's like his final story as like he's like the leaderless turtle. It's a really bold idea, and I like writers who do that with their IPs, who like kill their darlings, as it were, like rather than keep it secret. That said, I was less enthralled with, say, like the last iteration of like James Bond and like Indiana Jones, for that matter, right? Even though they tried to do something different with the IPs and stuff like that, I just felt like there was something a little bit different there. But anyway, that's something to explore for a future episode, I think. But to get back to fudging, so it seems we're all in agreement here that it has a place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's basically what supports the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so like let's get down to it. When do you fudge?
When it seems unfair, ultimately.
When it seems unfair.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
There's certain situations that, like, rules as written dictate that these certain groups of characters get into this certain situation, and there's ways, again, like going back to your question of how to fudge. Like the fudge can be like, even though there was like another 12 goblins in the next room and the character should have taken a short rest and didn't, there's ways to sort of like displace them to another room. Let's move it on, because if they encounter this one, they're just gonna die, and that would just be a bummer. You're 2 hours into a 4-hour one shot, and now the game is over.
Agreed.
I mean, that could be also really interesting if you just follow that thread to see it's out, and knowing your table is one thing. Like if you're gonna play a Cthulhu game, kill your players, man.
Yeah, you're in it. You're in it for that.
But yeah, it's that. Sometimes you got to take a risk. Sometimes you got to take a risk and just kill a character, or kill a big bad. But it becomes you're the guy at the Blockbuster Video, whatever. I'm dating myself here, but
There's still at least one out there.
You're picking out the movie for the movie night to bring home for everybody, and you got to be sure that who is the everybody that you're picking out the movie for. Oh, they're gonna really like this David Lynch body horror movie that I'm picking out. Well, then go for it. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's where you're going with this.
but mom's in the audience or whatever. Well, I'm not gonna kill Frodo or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you gotta like balance. Yeah, you gotta balance audience expectations. A lot of this could be cleared up in session 0 stuff, or and adapted and nuanced as you move along. But yeah, when it feels that that was a little bit unfair, basically.
But Jay, fudging, it's a form of railroading, right? It is a form of railroading. It negates randomness and choice.
It does. Ooh. Yeah. In the end, fun is the key. Fun is the most important rule. And so it can railroad, but you are, especially if you're an experienced GM, curating an experience for your players in a way and you're doing it intentionally or not, by setting up encounters in such a way that are in a way fudging already. If the enemies were smart enough, they'd make sure that castle was guarded by all the best elite dark mages of the universe or whatever. That it would be impossible for a raiding party to just like sneak in and steal the magical MacGuffin or whatever. But it's like, no, you're not going to do that because that's not fun at all, right? So in the end, there is a degree of fudging that happens at like every iteration of the game, like the design process, the kind of, it's like you want the players to win, but you just don't want it to make it too difficult for them, right?
Yeah.
Like what you say, you're pro fudging. You're pro fudging, right?
Yes.
Why, ultimately?
Because I think that.
Hold on.
That's not here.
I've told Phil not to come back again for 2 weeks in a row.
Is this Phil again?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Yeah. Hello.
Did I hear fudge?
Hold on. I can't see anybody. Oh, I gotta look down. Oh, hello.
I'm under your table.
Oh, what? Why is he? What? Do you need help? Do I need to make a call?
Oh, he's rattling around under the.
Hey, why did people invade your house? What the?
This is unacceptable. Okay, sorry. Who are you, sir?
Stuart Shartworth. I go by the name Stuart Shartworth.
Shartworth.
The third?
Nope. Junior.
You're the original?
You're talking about fudging.
Yeah. Oh, you work at the fudge factory down the street.
I am not the master fudger. I'm the master fudger apprentice.
What is that? Is that a cravat you're wearing?
It's quite noble. Very stylish.
Is that like a paisley cravat? Is that a beret you got on?
It's a sassy handkerchief.
Thank you. Ooh. What is this? What is this in your pocket?
My broken quill.
oh, got it. Why is it sticky though?
Fudge.
You got a fudgy quill? Ew. All right, you gotta get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Hold on. I have some questions for you.
Yeah, I have some questions for you, but yeah, how do
you first? You first.
Yeah, you first.
But Jay, if the players figure it out, it ruins verisimilitude and trust in your GM.
Yeah, I don't think they care.
You know what? Let me actually jump into that one. Being the player here. So I 100% can say that if I'm thinking that the DM is fudging a lot, it's gonna affect my gameplay. So to me, it's probably frequency. And I really liked what Jay was saying about fairness, because I've had moments where my character could have met its end, and I'm like, but that's really fucking unfair because that's what she was gonna do, and you damn well knew that's what she was gonna do, right? So have a discussion, right? Like I thought that what we came up with was really fair. You're like exceptionally hard challenge to get out of your dumb mistake, right?
we won't go deep into that because
I know this is the eternal debate. Eternal debate. But yeah, I think that there's room for the player to approach their DM and just say, "Hey, you know what? Strike up the fairness question." Like I just kind of got broadsided by that. I thought I was doing the right thing for this character, and it turned out to be the wrong thing. Other times, you can absolutely you have to be honest. Did you like do the dumbest thing possible? Like, did you just blindly go into the bandit's nest?
Yeah,
you gotta let that go. You can't ask for a fudge on that.
Well, and what is the degree of heroism of your characters? Are you going for the grittiness? Are you going for the Avengers? Right? If you're the Spider-Man that's like swinging around, like there's no like some of these characters who like fall from like multiple story buildings just land on their face and they're totally fine to keep going. It's like you'd be in traction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, are you playing that game? And sometimes that's where the problems lie, right? Where a character like tries to do an acrobatics move because I'm the acrobatics character. I'm the rogue character. I'm the dexterity character, and I make a roll and I fail. And yeah, sure, I should get some punishment for the failure in a sense. But then all of a sudden, like you're rolling like the 66 damage, and like I break my neck on the way down. It's like, oh well, I wouldn't have done that. I was just trying to be cool, jumping off the chandelier. But now, if I know you're gonna make me roll for failure if I fall off the chandelier, I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna stick in the corner and shoot crossbows.
That's important. If it literally stops your characters from taking these chances and doing the moments,
you want your characters to be theatrical and to have the cool moments that like make a combat exciting. But if it's like, and I think we know of a GM that plays like that, right, Chris? Like who's just like, oh no, you're like, oh come on. I was trying to be cool. I was being cool here. Like, nope, you died. It's like, oh, dude. I respect that style as well. In a way, it's not my style, but
very
I get it.
Old school. I find
it's old school.
And there are absolutely players who want that. They want that strict rule set.
That's right.
Totally valid, but yeah, you got to make sure that the right players at the right table.
So 3RPG endorses fudging.
Sandra, should players fudge?
Oh,
who are you?
Wow. Yeah, who are you with these good questions?
Who invited this guy? Oh God, you're sticky. Oh, gross.
Worst character ever.
So sticky. It's like you eat fudge.
Yeah, it smells like caramel and.
Hey, there's nothing wrong. Caramel's like the best candy. All right, but no, I don't think you should ever fudge a roll. Like if you rolled, especially if you're in person and your dice are kind of hidden or something like that, that I feel like is you're gonna know. You're always gonna know. You're gonna feel that guilt probably. Don't fudge the rolls. I think that the conversation route is really it. Like, hey, I don't have that skill you're looking for, and it's going to be really essential we get past these guards. Can I do something else? Like, I feel like that's the fudge that a player has, is being creative and then asking, can I do this instead? I think I could pull this off.
Yeah, that's good. Anything to add here, Chris?
I don't know where that guy went, but no, I agree.
He just poof. Just left.
Oh, here he is. Oh, he's under the table. Oh, God.
You swat him. Get him out of here.
Get him.
I really like your shoes.
God, he wants feet pics from Chris.
Yeah.
Not from me.
He likes feet pics?
Under your desk.
Like feet pics. Why do you smell like blue cheese and caramel?
Better than Doritos. Little dog feet. Dorito dog feet. Today we have another Dear GM letter. This one I think is gonna stump the two of you.
Why are you starting with like you just see like a delicious tiramisu or something like that? Like,
she has.
You open these letters?
You don't know me.
All right,
honestly, tiramisu is definitely top tier.
Right? I know you.
Top tiramisu?
Yeah, I'll lightly shank somebody for a proper tiramisu.
Top tier tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
That is now the name of our
this
dessert
was
restaurant.
left over by Stuart. He's got a little bowl.
Oh, nope, never
Then
mind. We're
don't
going
eat
to
it.
put that one back.
He brought us some tiramisu. Look at the calligraphy on this
Questionable at
letter. Look at the calligraphy on this letter. What does it read, Chris?
Fudge you.
Wow. He's
Wait, is it a compliment to him? I'm not sure.
I'm sure we're going to find out next time he unexpectedly shows up.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, okay.
Such a kidder.
We have some mail. We have some mail to open.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I swear I don't know what you guys are gonna think.
What does it read?
It's short. It's a really short one. Dear GMs, our monk has taken a vow of silence.
Oh boy.
God.
No. It's ridiculous. All right. Go on.
Do I allow this to continue?
Mhm.
Or do I force the party to have to RP around it?
He could speak in different ways. He could speak telepathically to the character, so still maintaining his vow of silence. But make sure that every episode he like stubs his toe on something and has to make like a saving throw or shout out breaking his vow of silence.
Oh, what a good use of roles!
He shouts out. He just goes, fucking shit! And it's like, those 30 years of silence I've just ruined in one stub toe.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
If everyone else is down, sure, I'll let it go. But then he still needs to be able to communicate with the rest of the party, because otherwise that could be pretty problematic.
Is there certain like communication styles you would allow, or that's just on the fly would even think about? Like, would you at least make them write? Like,
Yeah, he can maybe write things down, but then I think the player still needs to be able to, speak to the other players about intentions and things like that. But
okay, so it sounds like you both would allow this, but as long as it's got some guardrails, some.
It like some flags kind of go up a little bit, but it's basically like the
True.
Paul Dano role from Little Miss Sunshine, like the character who's like a vow of silence. That could be interesting. There's room for exploration there,
Mhm.
but it needs some sort of like some understood boundaries and ways of communication. Like, so you could have the communication via narration. What the monk does communicates certain things. Rather than explicitly having to speak them out, as so long as that player is making that effort to do that and not just trying to be like the broody silent type who does never answer anything. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a communicative activity, right?
It sounds like the overall is, have respect for the table in how you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. How would you answer the listener's query?
Oh God, I would probably take this way too far, honestly. I'm like trying to put myself in that role. Like, say the party came to me and went, you know what? Try this. Like, because we, like in our game, a lot of times the players will challenge each other to do something kind of crazy, each different campaign, something way outside our comfort zones and things. So if somebody came to me and said, hey, vow of silence monk, I would probably put a whole bunch of lore around it, come up with like hand gestures, things that the rest of the team knows, really evolve that, like really make it a full like I want to say full body, but that's not exactly what I mean. But
full body work.
Yeah, but make it an immersion thing for the entire table, not just me.
Body massage.
Body massage.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds like some good stuff right there. All right, guys. I think that is an episode for today. Until next week. And what are we talking about next week anyway?
Good question.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Only...
Yeah.
We need to draw the topic out of the magic hat.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.
Don't you want to know?
Yeah, don't you want to know? We'll tune in and find out. Suckers. Bye.